This annotated bibliography is on the Dead Poets Society. It will give specific focus on transcending the norm to help followers achieve higher level insight. Many view leadership as a quantifiable entity. This is useful for attempting to explain textbook theory and tactics. However, as with many real-world applications, leadership is a very personal matter in practice. Not that purest theoretical knowledge is useless. Instead, view these constructs as guidelines and allow yourself to use them as platforms for expansion, not the confines of a cage. The takeaway here is that attempting to measure the utility of a leadership tactic is futile. This is true because innovation can be encouraged but not prescribed. Theoretical rightness is objective and contextual, and followers will experience the tactics employed by a manager differently. To illustrate this point, we are going to watch a clip from the Dead Poets Society. In this scene, the professor encourages students to define for themselves what constitutes true artistic value by debunking the status quo both literally and politically.
Open your text, page 21 of the introduction. Mr. Perry, will you read the opening paragraph of the preface, entitled Understanding Poetry?
Understanding Poetry by Dr. J. Evans Pritchard, Ph.D. To fully understand poetry, we must first be fluent with its meter, rhyme, and figures of speech. Then ask two questions. One, how artfully has the objective of the poem been rendered? And two, how important is that objective? Question 1 rates the poem's perfection. Question 2 rates its importance. And once these questions have been answered, determining the poem's greatness becomes a relatively simple matter. If the poem's score for perfection is plotted on the horizontal of a graph, and its importance is plotted on the vertical, then calculating the total area of the poem yields the measure of its greatness. A sonnet by Byron might score high on the vertical, but only average on the horizontal. A Shakespearean sonnet, on the other hand, would score high both horizontally and vertically, yielding a massive total area, thereby revealing the poem to be truly great. As you proceed through the poetry in this book, practice this rating method. As your ability to evaluate poems in this manner grows, so will your enjoyment and understanding of poetry.
Excrement. That's what I think of Mr. J. Evans Pritchard. We're not laying pipe. We're talking about poetry. How can you describe poetry like American Bandstand? Well, I like Byron. I give him a 42, but I can't dance to it. Now, I want you to rip out that page. Go on. Rip out the entire page. You heard me. Rip it out. Rip it out! Come on. Rip it out! Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Gentlemen, tell you what, don't just tear out that page, tear out the entire introduction. I want it gone. History, to leave nothing of it. Rip it out. Rip! Be gone, J. Evans Pritchard, Ph.D. Rip, shred, tear, rip it out. I want to hear nothing but ripping of Mr. Pritchard. We'll perforate it, put it on a roll. Not the Bible, you're not going to go to hell for this. Make a clean tear, I want nothing left of it. Rip it out, rip! What the hell is going on here? I don't hear enough rip! Mr. Keating. Mr. McAllister.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here.
I am.
Ah, so you are. Excuse me.
Keep ripping, gentlemen. This is a battle, a war, and the casualties could be your hearts and souls. Thank you, Mr. Dalton. Armies of academics going forward, measuring poetry. No! We will not have that here. No more, Mr. J. Evans Pritchard. Now, my class, you will learn to think for yourselves again. You will learn to savor words and language. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world. Now, see that?
So here is the reality of the situation. Treating leadership like a formula simply does not work. You cannot predict innovative output from your followers by calculating the area under the curve. And if you insist on operating within the pre-established confines, you will experience diminished returns on your efforts. If you want to lead people to see innovative solutions, you have to throw away preconceived notions about how to approach the problem. If you want to get a leg up on the competition, you have to stand on the shoulders of giants, not next to them. So take the learning organization seriously by setting an example. Take a good theory and make it better. Take a great engineer and give them the training opportunities that will make them the best. Start expecting employees to set goals and help them find new ways to meet them. That's the only way to create a sustainable advantage in today's fast-paced market. The last takeaway here is this. Only start the transformational process if you're ready and willing to give it everything. People won't follow you down the road less traveled if you aren't competent enough to pull it off, and if you're not charismatic enough to convince them of your competence. If you are ready, realize two things. Your followers are going to be scared. Processes, procedures, and familiarity breeds content, but content is not good enough. If they are employees worth having, push them outside their comfort zones, make them forge a new path, and empower them in their endeavors. And secondly, when they stumble, and rest assured that they will, don't punish them for it. Help them learn from it. By teaching your employees to change their perceptions, you enable them to begin reaching into their ever-expanding potential. This cycle of empowerment is self-sustaining. More importantly, it is perhaps the only self-sustaining facet of your power as a leader. The cycle is self-sustaining because success breeds success. Nothing motivates an employee to achieve more than riding the high of a success already achieved. In addition, you, the leader, and the company will compound the successes of your followers. Empowered employees capable of coloring outside the lines make incredible focus groups. They become increasingly creative and are able to provide valuable insight by feeding off of each other. Followers are a leader's greatest asset. Give them the freedom to become capable and fulfilled in their work, and they will not fail to impress. That concludes this presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them on the discussion board. Thank you.